Hello, everyone. How are we? This. Guess we didn't need that one recorded.
I'll jump on.
Go for it.
Um, yeah, well, I just probably just life update, I guess, and weave in a question in that. Um, I'm feeling so anxious at the moment. It's probably, yeah, I really want to just take some time off. I'm excited for that, and I'm just feeling really anxious, and I've got to have a conversation that I'm like, could be a today or it could be a Monday thing, but yeah, I'm kind of feeling, anyway. Is that the struggle? I'm trying to identify that from yesterday. I was like, am I just going through the struggle to actually just like, I don't know. So that's one thing. Um, yeah, probably the biggest thing that's happening, did a voice note this morning, yesterday about just interestingly how someone's chasing me for money that we paid from an old mentor. Now that and it just so interesting that it happened like a week after I did my event. It's interesting. Yeah.
Okay. Did you find a question in any of that?
Yeah, I guess it's just like why is that happening? I just like it's just interesting. Like ever since, yeah, probably since the event, I've been trying to take micro moments out, but I just feel I don't know, there's more anxiety and just little things happening and stuff. So it's making me uncomfortable.
Yeah. Sounds like the Christmas period for most people.
Hmm. Mm.
People get into um it starts in November, but people get into December and most people they've been pushing all year. They're at the point where they're about to take a break, but uh that accelerates people's uh nervous system dysregulation, basically.
Mm.
The longer that you push throughout the year without taking a break, the more that just before the break that you feel it. And that's a collective thing that plays out for the majority of people around this time,
Mm.
which is, been pushing for a long period of time. A micro break of a day is going to be a good bump, but what training is that in? In the 5 day nervous system reset, we talk about the break cadences. Number one, it's an entire day without your phone, but then the next bump up for that to actually get fully recovered is 5 days.
I literally just said that to Joel. I was like, last night, I was like, I'm going to turn my phone off for 5 days. I
Yeah,
actually said that to him yesterday. So last night, I was so excited about that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, what happens with your nervous system is this: it like over a period of time, it just starts to doesn't get fully recovered. So over a time, your baseline just gets higher and higher and higher, and then you take a day off and it drops down a little bit more. But then eventually, when you take 5 days off, it actually drops down to where it's meant to be a lot of the time.
Yeah. Okay.
And um, most people don't take that time off throughout the year. They don't
Mm.
actually schedule like every quarter. I schedule a week off because I know that do I have the entire time off my phone? Not necessarily. Um, but I'll aim for 5 days to be able to drop it down. Then I can check my phone to be able to check messages and things like that.
Yeah.
Re-engage back in. But if you don't have that 5 days phone free, your nervous system doesn't actually drop down because it just gives a low level of stimulus, which means that it just doesn't actually drop down to what the actual baseline is.
Yeah. That makes sense. Okay. And yeah, I gave that offer for my lady to extend. And she's like, oh, when can I get back to you? So her objection was just like, she's like, I'm on board. Husband said yes, but she's looking for, um, she's trying to secure this deal. So then she feels like, so then she's got something to prove to her husband almost. Like she did do it, you know. How do you hold that kind of energy?
I would normally do a frame break, which is like, if you are 100% trusted yourself to ever get a result regardless of what happened, would it matter? Would you really need to prove anything to your husband?
Hmm. Hmm. I guess I don't know if there's the space of that now. So it's like, is it now just holding that tension? But then in future, it's like, yeah, saying something like that.
Yeah, and the biggest thing with it is you got to recognize whether it's sales 101 is isolating an objection, which is if you were to, is that the only thing stopping you? Is that the only thing stopping you? If that was sorted, would you send me the money right now?
Mm.
You got to isolate
Okay.
before you can. You'll see me do it if I'm selling from stage and I'm asking someone what's going on for them. First thing is I'll do is I'll isolate it. Do this in a sales call. You do it at the back of the room when you're triaging people. You do it if you're working with someone from stage. Like, is that the only thing that's stopping you from doing this today? If that was sorted, you'd be like running to the back of the room right now, or you'd put your credit card down right now, or you pay right now, whatever the action is. And if they say yes, then you know what you're working with. But if they say no, then you're like, okay, cool. Let's look at some of the other things that are playing out.
Hmm. Yeah, I definitely didn't isolate those things in the moment. I just went with what kind of the energy was in the moment. But yeah, I didn't do those things. So what would you say is the best thing from like for now at the moment? In this moment, just
I'd still follow the same process.
what's that process?
Like, I'd literally just send voice note and say, hey, you totally get it. I'd love to continue to support you. And just so I'm clear on exactly where you're at, is if that was sorted right now, would you go ahead and pay right now? Or is there, you give them the out, or is there something else as well that you're journeying?
Oh, sorry, Eden's recording you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Max was
Eden.
very disappointed that we didn't see you at Bergster last night.
Oh,
I've actually got a video. He's like yelling out the front gate of our Airbnb that we're in. He's like, I want to see Eden at Bergster. Come to Bergster. That was hilarious, kids.
oh, that's funny. So, or is there something else
That your journey,
that you're journeying?
or that's in the way with this.
And then do I just leave that or like because she was asking for a deadline, do I put that in or no?
Nah, just get this first, and then you can put it in a deadline.
Okay.
I think in your messages you already said, this is a specific offer. I don't know if you sent that or you just said that to me. This is a specific offer just for you. Like I would say, this is an offer just for you. As you understand this, my prices are now, 25 grand for this kind of package. And I'm okay to hold this for you for a period of time. But first I just want to know where exactly that you're at with it, so that then we can work out something, if there's something to work out, or we can just leave it and we can call it a day.
Yeah. So I definitely, yeah, I said that on the call yesterday with her that my prices are increased and it's different and this is specific to you. So I did say those things. So is it necessary to repeat that or just go into, hey, just so I'm clear, where you're at right now is, and the objection with the husband, and then just
So
say,
yeah,
oh,
I wouldn't frame it as that. You got to frame it in whatever their language is.
okay.
So that's your language. Whenever you're working with people, you want to frame it in their language, not yours.
Okay. Yeah, well, she
Like
said
language.
she said she's on board. She's just got to convince Clint, which is her
Okay.
husband.
Yeah. So I'd isolate it, which is, is that the only thing that's stopping you? If that was 100% sorted, like right now, you'd be ready to go. Because then you go straight to that thing. Because really, it's doesn't matter what I'm about to say because then I've gone into diagnostic. Isolate first. Once you get the isolation, then you can go in either way. I like giving people outs.
What's the out?
The out is, or is there something else going on as well?
Oh, okay, yeah.
You give them the opportunity to go, oh, well, this is actually what's going on.
Okay. All right. So do that on the voice note today.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
And best case scenario, you frame their question, which is that way. When I know that way we can work out, what's the end time point for this. That way that way we can work out what is an appropriate deadline for this. Because she's asking for the deadline, right?
Yeah.
So when someone asks for someone, when someone asks for a price, or someone asks for a deadline, you're like, 100%, I'm going to do that. Is it okay if I just ask you like one final question before we determine what that is, or before we go into the price,
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that it's a fit for you, to make sure that this is the right thing for you? There's nothing worse than, I don't know if you've had this experience before, where you're like, how much is it? And then they just keep going round and round and round and round and round and round in circles to like go back to their script or whatever the thing is. I don't know if you've experienced that and you're just like, bleh. So I will do one extra question, which is, hey, if someone says, all right, cool, how much is it to work with you one-on-one? If I don't know them, I'm probably just going to throw out the figure straight up to price anchor. But I will probably go, well, is it okay if I just ask you a quick question to see if it's actually a fit for you to work with me one-on-one, but first, and then I can give you the investment.
Yeah.
And I'll go, okay, cool. If I could snap my fingers and you get the perfect result out of working with me one-on-one, what would that be? And then I go, okay, cool. Well, ranges between $50,000 and $130,000. If you want to have a further conversation around that, we can have that further conversation. If you want to call it, vision board that, let me know so that I know that's a future thing for us.
Mm.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm just going to frame it in her language first to isolate it. And then after that, then when she responds, I do the frame of like that way we can determine what the deadline is for this, or do that in the same context.
Same context.
Oh, same context. Okay.
Yep.
All together.
Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All good. Who's up next? Open Q&A. Evelyn says, I've noticed people resist stillness this time of year. They want holiday, but really that's just more distraction. No one likes to stand alone in the quiet and meet themselves. 100%. That's all year round. People hate being alone with themselves. And it is heightened at this time of year the most, especially when they're hanging around their family because more of their shit comes up. I don't know if you're talking to her. Oh, no, she's voice noting. Can you speak into your lessons around when you used to ask why questions with your work with Jeff? Yes. What's the context? for me to learn about you unendingly asking why questions, or for clients, for you? Okay. Um, yeah, so I was working with Jeff, and every question that I'd ask him, get on a call with him. I'm like, all right, so why does this play out? And why does that play out? And what does this play out? And why does that play out? And why do people do that? And why is this coming up here right now? And I think his brain was like, okay, cool. And if I answer that question, is it going to make a difference, or are you going to have another why question? Um, you will get so far asking why questions, and yes, that is going to allow you to understand things on an even deeper level, and that's going to become a superpower, but it's also going to be the thing that kind of sabotages you. Because if you let a why question of understanding something stop you from taking action, it just slows you down. So the primary lens of most coaches is understanding things. People become a coach in many instances from their wound of feeling misunderstood. So then they unendingly search through human behavior. I'm going to learn about the humans so that I can human better. Throw in some neurospiciness and it's amplified. Because that understanding creates some level of safety and security, and it creates conditionality around those things. That's like the double-edged sword of it. It becomes the superpower, but it also becomes the thing that you use as a protection mechanism to hide in. My check that I do internally is, if I want to learn why something, do I instantaneously follow up with another why question? If so, I'm probably in a strategy. So my check is, if I can ask one why question, but then if it's like, okay, cool, why? If I ask why again, I'm like, okay, cool, let's go back internal. What am I perceiving that I'm getting from understanding this on an even deeper level? And can I create that internally beforehand? Can I create that as an internal experience before looking for the external thing to be able to give me that? Am I creating some level of separation between me and the action that would actually bridge me to the gap that I want to actually achieve?
So children will ask a lot of why questions after each other for curiosity.
Yeah.
And so the difference between an adult doing it is just looking at whether it's curiosity or a strategy for sabotage or for safety.
Yeah. So the 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 piece that kind of plays out is, what's the intentional purpose of the curiosity? Which is, okay, cool. If I get my curiosity met, then what? Then what do I feel? Then what do I do? Because we can still label it as curiosity, but still have it being the pattern of not actually creating change beyond that. So you go.
Yeah.
Part of the distinction is really recognizing, where are you coming from, and is any of that any level of protection mechanism or mechanism to be able to create something internally from the external thing. Because it's very easy to fall into like this identification of curiosity. I'm a curious person. And yes, curiosity is important, but as soon as we've created that identity, then that's going to create limitation for us. And again, this is going to be very useful for you, but you're probably going to be getting a lot of people to actually start to get to the level of curiosity that you have. It's the distinction between delivering to a client and an answer that's for you. Because the majority of people don't have that level of curiosity that you do. It's the same with the intellect. The most intellectual people, the greatest superpower is their intellect, but it's also the greatest, kryptonite, because it keeps them out of their heart. And that dance, for a long time, my thing was like, people love me for my models and for my intellect and all of those things, and I'm here to be able to bridge, the spiritual and the intellect and bring those things together. And 100% that's true. And the amplifier of that is going beyond that, because that's the thing that often gets people in, but what they're really looking for is to experience me as a human rather than experience how smart or how well I communicate a specific thing. So the nuance to it is, it's the step back of, have I created an identity around that? And if so, where is that curiosity of service to me, and where has it actually become a sabotage pattern to avoid me feeling something? And if I look at the lens for your clients as well, it's going to be like the rabbit hole paradigm of neurospicy people, of keep going like down a specific rabbit hole, is often that thing. It's not actually getting to connection. It's getting to different layers of mind, further and further and further and further, and more labels, more and more, which is actually just creating more disconnection from their heart.
Well, that's the piece, right? Like in this middle to neck back bit of me physically, and I know men as a physio, but this is the piece where in the work I'm doing in the dance and all of that, like this is the heart piece, and something runs down your fucking arm. I don't know what nerve that is, but that's got something to do with spiritual and connection to shit. And that's the work that I have to do right now to open up my heart area, apparently. So the reason I asked about the questions, because it's like, how am I using that potentially to block this? Because for the ballet and for the things I'm doing, I actually have to open this up. And so I'm asking questions so that I can work out how to do that.
Yeah. The greatest work is often working how we operate for the first level, which for you is curiosity, and then ensuring that that doesn't become the only part of it. So for you, it's going to be curiosity in the mind into the heart. It's like the paradox of holographics. It's like we're using your head to get you into your heart. And there is different mechanisms to be able to get into your heart, and that is one of them. That's going to work really well for certain people, and it's going to be difficult for other people. Cool. Good question. Who's up next?
I'll go.
Go, Nikki.
Thanks, Cody. I feel at the moment I'm in that flow space that you talk about, where you're just in that channel and of absolute clarity, and I'm just gunning out a ton of marketing and videos and everything. Question, I don't know if you can really answer it, but in terms of doing events, is there any kind of pattern in terms of launching like group containers? Should it be something that I'm doing like every 12 weeks, doing live events every 12 weeks, but kind of flipping around? Or is it just really, that's right, I think I know the answer.
Okay. So what's the purpose of the event?
Of in-person?
Of the event? Is it in-person event?
Well, next year I want to do live in-person events, probably in Melbourne. And then just launching group coaching containers as well, but that will be off masterclasses. So in person and then online events.
Yeah. Whenever we look at any form of offer question, the first thing that we do is we just zoom out to the ecosystem. It's like, how does this interact with the ecosystem? And if we're looking at an event, it's like, if it's a low ticket event that's going to feed the other things, then we ask the question of, well, what's it going to be feeding? What's it feeding people into? So, you know, we have a different cadence of how we kind of plan out our year. We're looking at events then, and we haven't been running in-person events, then we're probably going to start with, you know, quarterly, which is, you know, every 2 weeks or so. The thing that we look at for building online, you're often doing, you know, you're looking at the different time zones. What are you doing this week to be able to make money? What's the online thing that you're doing this month? What's the in-person thing that you're doing this quarter? And then what are all of those things feed into? And it's fine for those things to be able to feed into a one-on-one offer. And as you start to get more people that are in your ecosystem, that are in that have paid you a small amount of money, that have been a customer for you, paid you $1 to $100, then those people are the people that are easiest to, you know, upgrade to everything else. That's when it kind of makes sense to run a group thing.
Yeah.
You know, I have a lot of conversations with people around people who are doing lots of one-on-one, and that's how they make all their money. And they're like, all right, well, I'm going to run groups. And it's like, okay, cool. Let's look at, you know, how are people coming into your sphere? What is the actual content ecosystem? What is the low ticket ecosystem, so that we can actually have these groups run effectively? Otherwise, what happens is we're just like, we throw out an offer, and then that offer gets crickets, and then we're like, oh, groups don't work. It's like, no, the ecosystem is required to shift if you're running a one-on-one based business to a group based business. And often if we actually optimize the ecosystem, then you can bump up your prices for one-on-one as well, get more of those, and run the group as well. Good news. You want some good news then if you're looking at doing that? I'm going to be going from a one-on-one to a group model program that all you guys will get access to in the new year. I don't know when in the new year, but one of those ones that...
At the speed of grace.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cool. Is there any other pieces on that? If you're looking at planning, then that's the thing that you look at. What's the online thing that you're running each month? What's the in-person thing that you're going to run each quarter? If you're, for the other people that are listening on the call, you look at that, you know, the in-person thing can be a tour. It's like if we do a tour each quarter. Cool. Any other questions? Probably the one thing that I look at is everyone's in a different position this time of year. You just really want to plan out this time of year effectively. If you're already cooked in your nervous system, it's like you want to get your 5 days rest in as soon as possible. If you're gunning, then gun all the way till Christmas Eve. Then take your rest then. It's better to be able to rest when the majority of society is resting, which is normally Christmas Day through New Year's. To work through that time frame means that for you to recover your nervous system is probably going to need to occur at the end of January. So unless you've got travel planned during that time frame, it makes sense to line up with where the collective energy is. So I also, it's an interesting time. Is vision recovery? No. What was I going to say? So for me, it's an interesting kind of paradox, which is, you know, what happens when you start to take time off is the first kind of 1 to 2 days. If you're taking off 5 days, 5 to 7 days, first 1 to 2 days, you kind of feel bored. Once you start to get to 3, 4, and 5, it's hard to stay off because you get so much stuff drop in. When you're not like actually taking on energy from other things, when you're not running events and stuff like that. So Rebecca's like, we're in that time where, you know, you can become super productive because you're not actually doing events. Like, we don't have any events for December, and like this week, I think it's this week, must have been last week. Last week, I had no appointments for a week. It was insane. I got so much done. And often what happens is because you don't have appointments through like Christmas, New Year's, you can get a shit ton done, but then the cost occurs normally at the end of January. It's also why often I won't book anything in until, you know, 1 or 2 weeks into January. And we book something in like cert because it doesn't require promotional bandwidth because all the people that are already in it are in it. So my suggestion is plan out whatever your 5 days, minimum 5 days off your phone is, even if you don't feel like doing it. Does that, oh, we're going to teach people how to do this. I always forget. How do I do nothing? Can I read? Can I do all these things? I remember Lewis used to ask me this every year. He's like, bro, how do I do nothing? I'm like, bro, it is a journey. It is a skill. For the first 3 days, my recommendation is no phone, no nothing. After 3 days, if you're going to go longer than that, then you can read. And then you can write notes on paper, no screens though. And you want to catch yourself if you're like deep into business things on paper, because it's like, no, we want to disconnect from that. It's just like a little few notes here and there so that we can engage in it, because it drops our nervous system right down. And that means that we can get all the way through till Easter before we need our next thing. Going into a silent retreat this weekend to kick off the season. Yeah, that's always epic. Is it just a silent retreat or is it Vipassana? Just silent. Yeah. Any other questions, fam?
I've got another one if no one's got a question
for
for
it.
now. I'm wondering if I even fully really want that 100K client now. So it's a little bit blurry. I'm wondering, did I just want that as a thing, as like a money goal to chase? Or is it because I feel really peaceful? So I'm wondering, like, yeah, I'm just wondering, like, I know I've always aimed higher and higher, like that. Once I hit 20, 30K clients and then the 55, then the 75. So I assumed, okay, let's go for 100 now. But I think maybe, yeah, I guess I'm in a little bit of a fuzzy zone there, and it's obviously that's going to shape a certain result. If I'm fuzzy on that, then I'm obviously not just going to make it happen by total accident, like, oh, it happened anyways. So I'm just wondering if I'm maybe still unclear on that client, or is it a yeah, it's somewhere between, like, am I still unclear on who that client is? Somewhere between that and do I it's not okay, it's do I need the 100K client? Do I want one? Okay, cool. That'd be rad. But do I feel like really on fire for one anymore? And I'm not quite sure. When I say I'm feeling really peaceful, um, it's definitely not anti-prosperity gospel. It's definitely not you just shouldn't make money now, etc. Now that you've got God. Like, it's not that, because I feel like um but it's something in between. I'm just noticing, like, do I need that person? Like, I'd enjoy it. I'd be like, okay, that would be cool, but and I think it's a clarity thing as well. Because when I feel really clear, I feel on fire. I feel like fire is my natural state so long as I'm clear. If I'm unclear, then I'm like, and that doesn't even mean I'm go, go, go and doing. Like, I feel hella peaceful, but that's because I'm on fire for the Lord. So I feel really relaxed, but really lit up. So I kind of want that, but with this client.
Yep, makes sense. Yeah, often when we set a goal, we set it from a place of either what's next or neediness. And either of those in many instances is from a certain level of disconnection. What's next often is the thought that we have when we haven't received the things that we've done. And neediness is like, okay, I need to be able to get this client to be able to pay the bills. And there's an entirely different energetic frequency of creating from a place of both want and service and receivership. So normally what I do with when I'm looking at someone's businesses is I'm just consistently either zooming in on things or zooming out on things. So we can zoom into a 100K client and focus on that. And we can also zoom out a little bit and go, okay, cool. What are the other things that you want to create at the same time? Then we also zoom out and it's like, well, what's the massive impact that you want to create? And then the zooming in on a certain piece. And then sometimes we zoom in on something and we're like, I don't know about this. And then we zoom out a bit and we go, okay, let's have a look here. And that's where we stop. We start to look at something else. That's often the mistake that people make. They're like, okay, well, I don't know about this, so let's try this. Rather than going zoom, let's zoom right out and go, okay, cool. What's the big thing that I want to create? And then when I zoom in on that thing, we see where it fits.
Okay, I see. That's helpful. So I'm going to do a mega zoom out and then see if this, if it still fits the bigger picture.
Yeah.
It definitely resonates as a what's next because I know that it would,
So that's all of your fucking clients.
as in they all do a what's next.
So they're not in neediness, they're in what's next. You don't work with people in neediness. That's not your jam. Like what's next is their pattern.
Because it's got because the thing is, it's been hella motivating. Like it's done well for me, like maybe forever in my whole life.
Yeah.
But it needs to have that fire. Otherwise, like that. Yeah, things have really shifted and I'm not sure I was ever super materialistic, but now the 100K like needs to have, it just needs to feel super, like super hella transformational because the 100 itself doesn't really do it for me. I don't mind rejecting people and losing tens of thousands and like that doesn't really like satiate me at a soul level. So, okay, so all my clients are what next people as well. This is cool.
Yeah.
Sort of.
What next people are often the high achievers.
Yeah.
Can I ask, did you just identify that by her zooming out?
No, it's all like it's literally cool. I had seen that thread through my clients, but I had not specifically labeled it as the what's next client. But they're all like one's an ex-cop, the other one's like a CEO and like CEO across 3 universities or something. They're all like cool rad things onto their next. So what's your guidance for me in terms of like this is me as well now, but like where do we make sure the what's next has like a fire under its bum? Because otherwise it feels really kind of like bleh.
Yeah. It's like the hook for you, which is each piece of content is like, well, you probably lived your entire life being more successful than everyone else, going from thing to thing, getting more and more success. And then you get to that point where you just recognize after you've achieved something, you're automatically onto what's next. And then insert how you support them with that, which is like until you find God, you won't break that what's next pattern. Because only then does your soul actually be on such fire for the things that you're doing.
Yeah, okay, cool. So I can be using that as a hook. I guess I'm just for myself, beyond using it as a hook in my material, for myself, I'm just going back to the original question around like say the the 100K, my next client. How do I just lock fire into that though? So feels like a clarity piece.
Yeah, and which part are you most lacking clarity on?
It's a little bit of like, who would that person be?
Okay, cool. Yeah. So it's either going to be a who question or like what's the offer kind of question. So for you, it's who. So then it's like, okay, cool. Well,
Oh, I also had a big revelation I should point out as well, that I don't want to I I really don't feel right going for hella new age clients, which was my old audience. Because I can't encourage them, is what I realized. So therefore, who is that next 100K client? Because now I'm clearer on that, realizing like I can't, not unless they're like, there's full blown new age, unaware they're even new age, and then there's new age but Christ curious, which is where I was when I burst through and had my encounter with Jesus. And then there's just like, no, I know Christ is the way, the truth, the life. So anyone kind of beyond Christ curious, because then I know they're working towards a certain then I know they're working in this direction. Whereas I don't it's an I can't and I won't help the other guys. It's a salvation issue. So no.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's important, an important revelation for you. And that piece is, you know, the piece of finding our dream people is you know, kind of what you're journeying, which is, it's like, who is it? Who is it? And then also then once we've got that, and once we can communicate with the thing that they are journeying, which is what we're talking about in terms of your hook of like the next thing paradigm that they're in, then the next piece is how it's delivered. Which is, you know, you're journeying it, going from being an intensive thing that you like to no longer being that. So it's like, oh, now I no longer like that. How it's being delivered. And I think the key thing for you is, the first piece is the who is less about the specificity of what they've done in the past, and more about them doing that paradigm regardless of what industry that they've been in. So the way that we talk about the who is less about them having done new age or them having done certain things. It is, this is the thing that plays out throughout your entire life. Some of you are in corporate. Some of you might come from, you know, some of you have done that in the new age thing. Some of you have done it through these things. That's less important. What's more important is going, you've lived your entire life going, what's next?
Yes, cool. Excellent. Because I'm going to go ahead and guess that like no one realizes they're in what's next person until it slaps them in the face, like right now. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Excellent.
Cool. That's
Sorry,
gonna be one of the things that's gonna continue to land as well.
yeah. Yep. Yeah. I think at first, because I came from New Age, I thought I had to keep talking into people's New Ageness. But then I realized I had that revelation. It's actually with one of my biggest clients at the moment, the 75K. I realized if she doesn't crack herself open to God within a certain window, I'm gonna have to drop her, because I do not wish to partake in in. I just can't do that for her, nor for myself.
Can I ask you a question?
Yep.
What's the time frame?
She's definitely curious. She's asking about it every few days. She's got a Jesus/God question. But she's got her fears and she's very attached. A part of me wants to say, because we've got about another year together, she prepaid like a while in advance. We've got about another year together, but a part of me wants to say maybe at the 3 to 6 month mark. Yeah, thereabouts.
Okay.
Yeah, I think by the 6 month mark, I'd have to release her by the 6th. But I'm hoping that maybe another 3 months or so that she's in a different, less fearful place. Fear's the only reason people don't go to God.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no, sorry. I've got a whole list of this now that I've been watching and watching. Control freaks can't go to God. Big egos can't go to God. Which becomes my material. So I'll teach on that. So I'll run our trainings will be on control and ego and that stuff so that they work on those bits, crack open a little more.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah. Sorry, I waffled for a bit, but it's your turn, Mana.
Mana can voice note me because I got to get on to my next
No, all good. I came in late.
Yeah, that's all good. Voice note me and I'll hit you back. All right. Awesome, fam. Till next time. Enjoy the rest of your week. See you in the voice notes.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.